Hello, adventurers, and welcome to Roll for Bluff, our talk show where we discuss the ongoing events of our Bards and Nobles campaign. To my right, we have Tristan, who plays the mighty Soren Thunderfist. To my left, we have Leon, who's played by Zeke.
No, flip that.
Flip that. Zeke, who plays Leon Silvershadow, one of our slink slonky rogues. And then to my far left, we have our wonderful Dungeon Master, Brandon. They will be joining me, who is Sam and plays Calamine. Tonight, they're going to be my co-hosts as well as my personal bodyguards. We're continuing our story tonight in this segment, which is titled Gold Digging Goblins.
Yeah! Shinies!
Yes, lots of shinies. See, when we last left off our campaign, we had just sort of encountered a couple goblins who were basically being worked by other goblinoids, hobgoblins, into digging out sparkly rocks for them. And we'd kind of talked to them and had kind of discussed, if they kept our secrecy, didn't let anybody else know that we were there, we would help them out in exchange and maybe give them some of the sparkly that they so searched for.
Yeah, great. What a good deal you made.
That was a pretty nice deal, actually. I was kind of proud of that.
I sense sarcasm.
So
I felt like it was a good deal.
After you guys made the deal and went slink-slonking around, stealthing through the mines, you found a room that you believed had gems or something valuable in it. And sent Sprout to investigate the other room, which he turned into a rat covered with fungus and was gone for longer than you expected. Mm-hmm. And when you went to go look for him, you found he had been captured.
He was being held by his tail. Snack!
And Sprout, realizing he was vastly outnumbered if he would try to change back, decided to stay as a rat.
Chances of survival.
It was a better choice.
Best choice.
Probably.
You guys went into a hasty plan of action, and the two rogues tried to stealth on in, and that's where we started our session. You attempted to stealth, but what happened?
We were both... That was just terrible rolls. So, I guess as we were discussing our plan of what we were going to do, we end up just walking in without really realizing we're already...
We're like, okay, so we're going to sneak up on them, and you're going to hit them with the sneak attack, and I'm going to hit them with the sneak attack.
Which one of you rolled the one?
I think that was me.
Yeah, I think that was
So you rolled the one, so you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And you go, yeah, it sounds like a great plan, Leon.
Opens the door.
Wait. So you were entered the room, and then the hobgoblin commander was like, wait a minute. You're not normal. Kill him.
You're not normal?
Well, we're not goblins.
You're right,
we're hobgoblins.
It's kind
So.
of racist.
You're a tiefling and an elf. That's not normal to them.
They're not normal
So
to
they initiated combat. Did you guys did it? I mean, there was a few moments where you guys were like, ow, ow, ooh,
That
ouch.
hobgoblin,
Yeah,
yeah.
mainly.
The hobgoblin warlord was just...
Well, yeah,
you walked in and you cleaved a guy in half.
No, I'm saying then I got the most damage out.
Yeah, that's why.
Killed them. I know.
That's why that happened. And generally, if you see someone take out one of your dudes, you go, that dude's a threat. I'm going to kill him.
I felt it.
Someone wasn't in the room yet.
Because that's where we
it.
we had a hobgoblin with like an AC of 20.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the highest that we've encountered. Because even with some of the tougher fights, it's just been they've been powerful, not as much as their AC is super high.
Welcome to higher levels.
Yeah, it's very true.
By higher levels, he means not even halfway.
Oh no.
So, you readily dispatched... Well, not readily. You dispatched the goblins and the hobgoblins, and you found out that there are a lot of goblin alchemists
Yeah.
in the area. Because that was the third one you found, and he blew himself up because you were 1 point away from killing him. If you'd done one more point of damage, you wouldn't be able to do that. But
He's like on my own terms.
I'm going out on my own. I'm not going down. Going down with me.
You're not counting this one.
Pretty much. So,
We saved Sprout.
You did save Sprout.
Almost. Barely, kind of. Sort of. When he,
Oh, yeah, because
he
of the
blew himself up and he
explosion.
was holding Sprout.
Yeah.
So,
And Sprout was
was like,
unconscious.
and then hit the wall. So that was great. After you found some things, you didn't find too much exciting. It was a bunch of broken down stuff.
We found a couple of jewels in there, or
we found one big one that Sprout found in his corner.
A big old one.
Yeah, and then just like some.
Found 2 smaller sapphires and some gold
and some iron.
And then also you scared the other 2 goblins so much they were like ah.
Oh yeah, because that was it. Last thing they saw was me smashing a hobgoblin just.
Yep, just squashing
them.
So yeah, in sight that would be horrifying.
I know. I just saw like ooze in my
head.
Like,
what's going on behind me? Oh god!
It's like, all over them. just blood. Like oh my god!
He's like what 3 feet tall, and you're like 8 foot tall.
Yeah, I'm 7
so a whole 5 foot tall higher, and he's just like. So after that wonderful conversation and you leaving them alone and they running away, you went back to the one room again. You guys just couldn't let that room go.
No, I couldn't. I could not leave that room alone.
So you guys went back. You had Sprout turn into a giant badger to try and dig his way through.
That didn't work.
He got stuck twice. Did not do so hot.
Wow.
So you guys abandoned it once again to continue your journey. Surprised every room you didn't go through. You're like, okay, 1 room in, 1 go back. 1 room in, let's go back. 1 room in, let's go back.
See, I was convinced that there was when we were going on this trip, it was supposed to be like special stones and weird bones. I was convinced at the time that that's where the weird bones were.
Okay.
Now, boy, were you wrong.
See, I thought it was a chest,
but we'll get to that.
I thought it was buried
later. At the time, I was convinced that's where the weird bones we were looking for would be.
Yeah.
But then we went into a room full of bodies.
Well, of corpses.
Yeah, that's right. That was the first
it was a fun room.
It was a great room.
It was like the end result of It's Raining Men.
It's horrifying and disgusting, and I don't want to picture that anymore. Moving on.
Well, it's like, what is it? It's Raining Men and Bodies Hit the Floor are the same song from 2 different perspectives.
No, I hate this now. So, after some investigation, you found that a bunch of bodies were piled up near a door, and instead of wiggling your way through, you jammed in a piece of wood and pried them off, and when you did that, another mushroom cloud, or a mushroom cloud, and it would have paralyzed you.
No. But I rolled a nat 20.
You're like, not having that.
Not today.
And you went to the door and found nothing.
Found a door.
It's a very nice room.
It's a very nice empty room. And no, they found something, of course, because that would have been very disappointing as a DM. I was like, you find nothing. That's it. The game is over. It was.
I'm going home.
You found it, right?
Yeah, I got another nat 20 on investigation. I got like 3 nat 20s in a row.
Streak.
Yeah,
that was good rolls today.
Yeah,
there were some great rolls and some bad rolls.
Even out. It did even out.
So
when I investigated the room, that's when I found
a hidden door.
Oh yeah, there was the hidden door where you had to pull the knob and turn it, and it opened up to this like ascending passageway that was like lighted.
It was super well lit because the room we were in was pitch black. The rooms that even the body room was pretty pitch black. It was like all the torches were gone.
Just had dancing lights just going.
Yeah, I did find another dragon tooth on one of the bodies in the body room.
That's true. You got a black dragon.
Yeah, I found a black dragon tooth.
So you have what, a white one and a black one now?
Yep.
You can have yin and yang blades. That would be amazing.
That's what I'm hoping she'll get out of this.
Me too.
Depends on what she does, but that's all up to her. And what are your now that we can talk about it, what are your plans for him?
So initially I was considering, going to Selvin at some point, and potentially trying to get another nice dagger. But now that I have 2 of them, I mean, that just kind of makes for some interesting options. I mean, I can get some sort of like dual-ended weapon or something like that.
Yeah, I guess some of it's going to come down to who you talk to, because either you'll have like, an ebony and ivory blades, like a duel, or you'll have one where it's like one blade, but half of it's black and the other half is white, or like you said,
depends on how much money you want to put into it.
Yeah,
how much threatening you do.
Which at the moment
put money to that.
Well, which at the moment Cal doesn't have much money, but I'm hoping we'll change that.
I mean, I guess we should start with: do you plan on keeping those 2 dragon
For the moment, yes.
Okay, because I know, because again, we were.
I'm not going to. I don't plan on selling them to Wesley at the Wonder Emporium. I plan, if anything, I will either keep them until I can find somebody who can do something with them. That's my plan.
All right. So then, after finding the secret doorway and ascending,
it was very steep, very steep,
for quite a bit of time.
Right. To the point where we were like, we should be at the surface now. Why aren't we at the surface?
That's right.
So, you two went into the room first.
Yes, us and Sprout.
And Sprout.
And we walked into the room, and we were initially very stealthy. And we saw a bright glowing orb in the room, to which then Cal really stupidly decided to shoot a message back because Cal was like, oh, bright glowy orb, I don't know what that do. To try to send a message back to somebody who might know what that do, like Bilal or something. And as soon as I spoke, because even whispering, you still have to
speak
It's
verbal.
still noise.
You saw that it immediately activated everything in the room.
Now, before we get into this, just metagame with me. If we had snuck in, could we have potentially...
Snuck attack it?
I don't want to say sneak attacked it, but could we have potentially sneak attacked the orb? Like, what
were you going to do?
Sneak attack the orb.
You're going to stab it?
I think I imagine it would have been just to touch it.
Here's the thing, not knowing what it was, probably not just straight up attacked it.
I mean, it depended on what you did. As soon as the Phylacterium, you know, doesn't have like a mental capacity, but the enchantment and magic in the room that's on it, if it could tell, you guys are just quiet enough and just with the pass without a trace, just not leaving any sort of trace that you were there because it was a dark room.
Yeah.
So you just had your dark vision.
We wouldn't have been able to get all the way to the door on the other side without the rest of the group, though, because Bilal had to pass without trace. So we would have all had to go, regardless. And we would have all had to roll pretty well.
A bunch above 25s.
Yeah. To
get through there, to work your way through. But if you could have done it, I mean, you were just left alone.
Nah.
So you could have tried to sneak attack it, and depending on what you did or how you tried to, if you tried to dispel it when it wasn't active, you still would have had a hard DC, but you could have done it and avoided everything.
But that's not what happened.
No.
Well, I mean,
alternate reality that happened.
At first, did you even expect us to find this area? Because you mentioned that the empty room had it was a pretty high DC, and we lucked out with Sam rolling a nat 20. Mm-hmm. Do you expect us to walk in there and go, oh, this is nothing?
Yeah, it depended on who was feeling feisty that night to find stuff. Because this was it was a mining cave. Right. It was where people were actively mining, so it hadn't been that explored. So you guys had the capability to really look into it. So you guys could have easily, the DC was technically 25 again. Okay. So you're not 20 beat it.
Gotcha. So after the orb activated, a bunch of eyes, as you described it, kind of sort of glue up around the room. There was lights, like torches became lit, and then all the bones started to sort of like accumulate together. And there was a couple of...
It was a sweet, sweet dance party of skeletons.
Yeah, there was a few skeletons, some minotaurs.
The orb had a shield appear over
it. The orb had a shield appear, and then out of like this little pit area came a skeleton dragon.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Now, second metagame question of the night. When the goblins that I had asked earlier about Big Bone, was that what they were talking about?
Yep.
Okay. I thought so.
Big Bone in pit.
So they knew it was there?
They probably came across it.
And they didn't die?
Because they probably been in that area for so
long. Or maybe
they'd
heard about it, or maybe they'd
seen maybe they know there were more than 4 white goblins in that area, and they found the room, left it. Maybe theoretically they sent a few in, saw it activate, ran, and piled the bodies in front of that door.
That's possible.
See, because that was going to be a question I was going to ask, is how the bodies got in front of the door.
The white goblins. They were having no part in anything, but they wanted to find everything else there.
That's fair.
That's smart.
Yeah.
See, because my original thought was that they were trying to get into the door to, like, escape or something, and they all just started piling up.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So the dragon came down, and so it's Cal, Leon, and Sprout.
Oh, nice one.
No, and then Leon.
And then, hold on. The dragon flew up out of the pit, landed right in front of us, and then made attacks on all three of us. And then Leon was in the initiative order, so he decided to run back to the path that we had come out of. And then called out to them, what did you say, Bone Dragon?
I literally just said Bone Dragon.
Said Bone Dragon. To which, who was next?
Liren, I think.
Liren was next.
Mm-hmm.
And
she was like,
she went to go up. You had to use her full turn, basically, to get up
that far
the rest of the hill. And then she met Leon, but since it's such a small passage, she couldn't, go past him.
Didn't think that there.
Standing in the doorway.
Did not think about that.
So then after that, Soren was like,
oh, you found dragon bones? Cool.
and was
then
behind
Bilal.
her, and then Bilal came. So they're all stuck in this hallway.
It's like really bad traffic.
Leon's like
"Hey,
this, and the
guys."
other three are lined up behind him. So then it's me and Sprout
In
with
a room,
all the skeletons
surrounded by just skeletons, a skeleton dragon, was it 2 minotaur skeletons?
It was a
Yeah.
dragon
Just the two.
It
skeleton.
was like 6 total.
Dragon skeleton, 2 minotaurs, 3 regular skeletons.
Yeah, and then
were
that was when
fine.
Sprout did probably the best thing that could have possibly happened.
Because he rolled really high for that,
I
too.
trusted
didn't he?
him.
Well, it was a save.
It was
It was a save, yeah. So he cast Charm Monster on the Bone Dragon, which
It was a monster and got charmed.
got charmed.
And
So
it was like, we're all friends
it basically flew back, and he was kind of looking at Cal like, yeah, we're your friends. We're not going to hurt you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Cal was like, don't hurt. Okay. So then that was when
Already
Cal yelled out to the rest of them, don't hurt the Bone Dragon. So everybody eventually made their way
into the room.
into the room.
And battle ensues.
Yes, and battle ensued.
You are so lucky that Sprout was there, though.
Yeah.
Because you would have been down if he hadn't been like,
Yeah, if I had a feeling, because if he wouldn't have been there, we probably would have focused most of our attention. Like, it probably would have been how it normally is, like Liren, Sorn, and Bilal all against the dragon, while me and Leon tried to take on the smaller
yeah, I
thing.
can only imagine how poorly that would have gone.
Yeah, it would have gone pretty poorly.
Because gourd, down past half health, the other skeletons come in and just...
Yeah.
That was, in my mind, that's how the battle was going to go.
Oh, so we changed.
Yeah, you did, because
Sprout.
you were nice to Sprout beforehand. Sprout was going to be in either survival mode or group survival mode. You guys were just not you had fun with him, you took care of him, you saved him. So he was in group survival mode. So if he wasn't, he was going to do a sleep storm. And just get out of the way and just let it sleep. But he charmed it. So if you guys didn't, the dragon was definitely going to start nomming on you guys. And that would have been a very hard fight.
Yeah.
Bilal would have had to been your carry, doing a lot of heal, doing everything he could to keep you up. Because if you two were to get hit too much, it would be too much of a time sink to get you guys back up.
Yeah.
We could have potentially lost characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally could have.
I have a feeling, though, that could have happened. That could have happened multiple times throughout this play night, though, to be honest. 'Cause there was a couple times where it was like...
Special stuff.
It went a lot smoother than it really could have.
Yeah. But the fight itself actually went pretty smoothly once we charmed the dragon.
Once Sprout charmed the dragon.
Whatever.
Yes.
We. The
You're like, I
royal,
want
I'm
credit
using
for
the
it.
royal we, okay.
That's a part of the
Sprout
group.
wants credit, thank you.
He's a part of the group right now.
Okay, Sprout.
I mean, because a lot of the skeleton things, their DCs weren't really all that high. Their
Yeah.
health weren't even really that high. It was just the overwhelming at the beginning.
I mean, the Minotaurs kind of ate some,
They chunked some damage.
Yeah.
Minotaurs. So.
But we eventually got them down, and then it was just left to the dragon and the little glowing orb.
Which the dragon was charmed.
Now, was it the moonbeam that I had cast for Bilal that caused it to react, or was it the dispel magic?
It was the dispel magic
Okay.
on the
Orb.
On the orb.
arcane aura.
The aura.
Okay.
So when that cracked, it was technically an assault on, because the phylacterium is an extension of a lich or like undead being souls. So it was an attack on that, which means it was an attack on the dragon, which means he was back into it. He was like, wait a minute.
But fortunately, by that point, it was really just us versus the dragon.
I mean, it still
Didn't
did
stop
damage.
us from having to deal with a dragon.
I mean, but it wasn't. I felt like that was a much easier way to go about doing things.
Yes.
As opposed
With
to trying
all
to
of
do
us
like.
against the dragon.
You were
Yeah.
all with it. You guys would have
Yeah.
been.
Is it
flooded.
funny that in my head, when I'm picturing what we were fighting, it was Ridley from Samus?
I mean, no, it's not exactly.
You know what
the same.
I pictured? I actually pictured the bone T-Rex from Night at the Museum, except for with wings.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So they had like
pretty
black
much-
ooze coming out of it.
Yeah. So we eventually managed to take down the dragon. Sprout wound up going unconscious.
Yeah.
Because the last thing when we hit it was Leon that got the last shot in. Good old bow shot to the skull.
Dude, I had 2 great
Right.
bow shots. I was
Yeah.
Oh no!
surprised.
But then he tried to dispel the magic orb. That's what happened. Or we brought him back up.
No,
and
well,
then,
he went down and was covered in sludge.
That's right.
In the necrotic
So, yeah.
ooze.
yeah.
when I killed the dragon,
I thought it might be a
was-
smart idea to use that stone to get that.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
ooze
the
out.
other
my
thing,
first
like,
thought was to get him out of the
He
sludge
was
as well.
even with if you didn't clean him off, he would have taken another day.
I had thought about that because I was like, oh, well, it's the ooze.
You really
Okay.
tried to kill him off a few times too.
He's just having us live in a world.
He's living in a world where
I feel
this
like
person was like, I have to protect these people. I'm going to do everything I can. And then
Almost died several times.
there were not enough people in the room at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then it
Wonder
was
why.
what? Bilal tried to dispel it.
and fizzled.
And
Well, I'll roll a
fizzled.
negative, a natural one twice.
Yeah, on the same
Yeah,
spell.
performances.
Haha! Nope.
Malcolm,
Haha.
if you watch this, when you watch this, I do apologize. I wasted an awful lot of your spells.
Good thing they come back. Good thing they're not like
Good thing we
permanently
took the long rest.
Oh yeah, we did. You're on
Right, and then
So-
Sprout tried it as well, and it didn't do anything either. It was like, because Storm was like, I can hit it, and everyone's like, no!
gone. And then
And he was like,
eventually,
all right.
and then
Well, no,
Leon,
'cause,
Leon was like, I mean, I guess that's what we
He
gotta
did
do.
dispel the shield.
Yeah, that was
Right,
the first
the-
thing.
yeah.
That caused
And
the dragon to
then-
attack. And then when they tried it again, we're not gonna blow all of our spells on this.
Yeah.
So
So after telling him no at first, someone was like, I mean, I can still hit it. It's just a glass ball.
I was
mean-
like, I mean,
So then,
Lyran cast Identify.
right,
yeah.
that's true. That's what it was. Lyran cast Identify. That's when we found it. It was the Lichy thing.
The phylacterium, if that's how it's pronounced correctly. It's the
Factatorium.
well, it's
yeah,
called the Lich Ball.
the lich ball, which means that when a lich dies, if it's able to make it back to that, it stays alive. You can only kill a lich lich anything that's been marked to have that if you. It's kind of like a Horcrux.
So would you say
Ah.
that Lich Ball is life?
Yeah, lich ball is life. So and then it takes one.
Ball is life.
Hashtag Lich Ball.
I think it
is
takes. I can't remember the exact, but it takes a few days for the lich to come back, and it just rematerializes.
Right, because you had mentioned it could be within the day or up to 5 days from
yeah.
the Identify.
For that one, yes. For that one, yes.
So after she'd identified it,
Storm was like, I can still hit it.
so Bilal, Cal, and Leon were like, you go on ahead and try, big guy, and we went
because Sprout,
far away from
yeah.
us.
Sprout was
Okay.
encouraging. It's like, yeah, go ahead and hit it. If the spells didn't work, maybe hitting it will work.
Yeah.
And Lyran was like, I'm going to stick over here with you just in case you need me, big guy. And everyone else was like,
yeah, you
"We're
do that.
So of course he
support you
hits
from
it.
here.
With a
critical.
That was a
Nat
good
20
hit,
that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I almost maxed out everything.
Yeah.
which is insane.
He looks so blown.
Well, I mean, if you did with the fact you did that much damage, you pretty much damage boosted past the 3 to 4 versions of what happened after you hit it. You damage boost past 2 of them. So what happened after he hit it and he cracked it? It released some of its necrotic energy inside of the different souls and did a large AOE that knocked out Sprout.
Knocked out Sprout.
Did so much damage to Lyran and you.
Yeah.
And you immediately ran over and I was like, no,
Yeah.
we're not losing you, little man.
We
And he
healed
got up and he was
Sprout.
like, I'm not doing that again.
So then there was 2 healings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
dropped
then
the heals.
everybody except for Soren got backed away, and then both Bilal and Sprout cast the healing spirit. So that way, if
Do it
Soren
one more
hit it
time.
again,
Yeah, they were like, all right, we've gotten this far,
support
Soren,
you
hit it
again."
again.
yeah,
To which Soren was like,
Okay.
all right, I mean,
And
you
you
guys
rolled
will heal
above
me.
25 again.
Yes.
That was great
Yeah.
rolls.
You just... and then you shattered it.
So question. would someone be able to attune to it, or we would have just we had to leave it there?
No, it was going to
No,
try and steal your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would have had to
There
leave
was
it there.
nothing positive about it. There was nothing.
I thought so. I was
It's
just
literally
curious.
the embodiment of a lich and the undead. You
And we couldn't even sell it to Wes.
No, he wouldn't have taken it.
He would have
Okay.
been like, what the
He would have been like,
why would you bring this
he
here?
would've been-
I
he
have
would've
a
been
feeling.
Don't make a dagger!
I have a feeling that on the one hand, this is probably good, and on the other hand, this could come back to bite us in the butt. But we'll find out.
Yes, you will.
Yes, we will.
Yes,
Oh, no.
you.
Okay, so it's
will.
gonna come back to bite us in the butt.
Specifically
We'll find out
Soren.
Yeah, you're the one that attacked it.
Soren's dead, guy.
When after you broke it, you rolled. There was a 10% chance that it was,
That was amazing.
not going to go off. It was the 90 to 100% chance, like
Right.
in that percentile, the
Yeah.
10% that it wasn't going to go off again. That you shattered it to the point where it couldn't release another blast to protect itself.
Yeah.
It rolled a 99 percentile.
Yeah.
So you did it. It didn't blow up on you.
Because at first when you rolled, just the faces that you made and like the tone, it was almost like, oh my gosh, I have to kill Tristan now.
It was the pauses too.
Right, it was
He
that
got so
pause he
quiet.
made. It was like, oh my god.
You got so quiet. I
like
was
you
like,
made it. It really felt like you were like, I have to kill Soren.
I have to deal 100 damage to him right
And, but
now.
then
That's
you
what
were,
I thought it
and then
was.
he just turned and was like, nothing happened. We were like, what?
Exactly. No, that's the moment though. It's like the build, like and nothing happens, which is just as rewarding as dying. You should say that nothing happened is more rewarding than dying.
No, it's definitely a good thing. I'm really glad it happened that way. But again, it was just like the way
it was the build up.
it was that build up. We were like, you definitely like just the emotion
Because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You had a 10% chance. Most of the time in Russian roulette, 10% chance to not get shot. You're getting shot.
Now speak for yourself when you say nothing happened.
Okay. Valid. Point.
Yeah. Okay, so after a few minutes after it happened, after you guys searched everything and you found a bunch of money, some shackles that said
Eternal death. Or
I
death,
knew
death be eternal. In
death be eternal in infernal. Infernal eternal.
Infernal
You
eternal.
found
It's my rap name.
right? Inferno Eternal.
you found the most important thing you found with the high, once again, a high investigation check.
Was the sigil of the forge.
And the forge is back.
Which we had detected had necrotic energy, so I used Mage Hand. I didn't want to touch it.
And for those of you who don't know, the Forge is the
Cult.
the cult of the clockwork, from what they can tell.
Right. It's definitely the group that's followed us around since the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah.
With Bellington.
And but you discovered this. It's not like they were bringing you here.
Yeah.
Right.
So and even
And
you
some
found
bones.
you took the
Found a really nice necklace. I think it was worth
gold neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
no.
later.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's later.
Yeah, this is where we found some. You found a rosary.
I wrote, the
Yeah.
prayer
prayer beads
beads,
with
yeah.
a bunch of gems on it.
Yeah.
And then you took a chunk of the horn and a claw, a bone from the dragon.
And two
Right.
Minotaur heads.
And I
And
have
two Minotaur.
I have two Minotaur skulls just in my bag.
Chilling.
Look,
I forgot I have like a goblin skull. I have
You do have a goblin skull.
Yeah, I need to write that down.
So you have two
Just
Minotaurs,
a
a
rope
goblin
with a
skull, and some dragon bones.
I'm
Which
gonna
is
start wearing the skull
all
around
in
my
all
neck like a chain.
Pretty
Not at
good.
all.
Yeah.
But then after, the group
want
convened
more.
by the healing spirit to be like, okay, let's get back into full health. The spectral soul, before it was completely pushed out into death, of the dragon came out and took a large AoE swipe on everyone. And everyone passed except for...
Gal.
Oh.
Which, every time you say make a wisdom save, I just give up. Like,
What's your wisdom
No,
save?
no,
Cal, okay, it's +1.
So all in all, it's not
If
bad.
it makes you feel any better, Sam, I feel the same way with Soren because mine is +0. Remember,
Well, that's how I feel with strength. It's +0.
well, right. But with the wisdom, last time I failed a wisdom save, I became a turtle.
Okay, I'm sorry, but becoming a
Hers is
turtle
kinda worse.
is incomparable
No,
to everything that Cal has seen on a failed wisdom
I'm
save.
aware,
I hate to
but-
break it to you. Cal would love to be a turtle for a
I'm
day.
not
It would be
saying
great.
it's any. I'm not saying Soren's is equal. I'm just saying I understand the fear.
Uh-huh. Oh god, I might get turned into a turtle. How awful.
It's not just the turtle.
It's so horrible.
So what happened?
Sam took a nap.
Cal
About a power
is
nap.
unconscious for 2 days.
It was 1d4 days. Got a 2.
Oh boy!
Honestly, that could have been a lot more.
Night,
It could have been
night.
4 days.
Night.
Yep, Cal's taking
Cow at night.
Cal's taking a really long rest.
She just
Is it
slumped.
peaceful?
Wakes up super.
It is not a peaceful rest, by the way.
We'll find out. Well, you guys will find out about that when she wakes up.
Yes,
You don't want to tell us now?
I will save that sweet, sweet bit of
the whispers of sweet nothing.
just that little
So-
spice.
Brandon
Spice.
got up and
For next
actually
time.
whispered something into her ear. And
He
me,
left the DM spot.
Yeah.
Immediately after I did that, Sam was like, "Oh, this isn't fun."
Now, would you have told all
A
of us?
turtle! I will take being a
If you all would
turtle!
have passed out, yeah, you guys all would have known.
I almost feared
by the
if we
way,
had all gone down.
with your +0, imagine if Soren would have knocked out. How are you gonna get him out?
Dude, we would have just had to be there.
He was
Dude, I was
left.
gonna say-
I would have been like, well, we're just
No,
camping
this
here
is our
tonight.
group. Our group would have left my ass.
Okay, to be fair, what we
No.
probably would have done is we would have moved forward, like leaving like 1 or 2 people back, found the cot room, and probably would have taken shifts watching over your unconscious body while the
I
rest of
think
us slept.
Bilal would have slid you down the shaft, and honestly,
He would have
I'm not
transformed
gonna
into
would've-
like a
He would have
brontosaurus.
short rested and been like, "Okay, we're pulling you out of here."
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because that's
No,
would've
you
been
can't turn into a
hilarious.
brontosaurus. You can summon
Oh,
one.
what
The
the
Allosaurus.
Allosaurus. Thank you.
So, yeah,
if we-
you're sleeping.
What if we
Yep.
all passed out?
You all passed out.
Would you just skip to 2 days, or were we
Nope.
dead?
You wouldn't have been dead. You would have had no possessions.
The goblins would have stolen all our shit.
All that rumbling would have been over. So the goblins been like, "They get big bone, we get all bone,"
Okay.
and they would have taken all your stuff.
I would have killed him.
You guys would have been like, Liren would have been
Why
like,
am I naked?
Why can you imagine Soren? Because you were there for that, Leon, where Soren's necklace went missing, and he terrorized the town essentially.
"Yeah, you
to
guys would have
find-
lost
Why
all
did I
that cool
miss
stuff."
that?
This was before
To
your
be
time.
fair, we probably could have tried to track them down, and can you imagine how bad they would just absolutely shit themselves when we caught
Just
up
like
to them?
A door comes flying off the hinges. My 8-foot ass comes in. Where is it?
Where is she?
Immediately, they start trying to use like different items.
They're like they just like pick up like the flask of oil and they're like chuck it like that doesn't do
One of
anything.
them pulls out the clockwork heart box and throws it on Soren. Soren is then possessed by clockwork heart.
Wait,
moving
are we
on.
still in possession of a clockwork heart?
Next time.
I don't have it in my notes.
I don't know. I'm thinking
Oh,
so.
you're just. I was like, wait a minute.
I was saying
You
I
made
don't
a
think
point
no.
to
I
have
think
ours.
I think we've destroyed all the ones that we were in
I
possession.
think
That
you're
would be
correct.
hilarious.
Just hilarious. Like,
Yeah, we're
I would
Okay.
definitely be dead. That's
but
for
yeah,
sure.
so Cal is unconscious. We have her
Oh.
over my shoulder.
I just had a really horrifying thought.
What?
Clockwork Lich.
It's
That would
planned.
be terrifying.
It's planned. I see that face over
That
there,
would be
Brandon.
I was talking about. Moving on. So, Cal's asleep.
Confirmed.
Cal's asleep. You're
You
gonna
know when
forget
he's
about
using that.
Clockwork Lich confirmed.
this. Clockwork Legend Smash.
I guess
So-
I need a few more hammers.
Challenger approaches.
Anyway, Cal's unconscious, so they wind up dragging Cal.
Well, no, not dragging.
no.
Soren
Soren-
carries you.
Soren is carrying.
Lovingly carrying you over his shoulder
It's
like a
not
sack of
lovingly.
potatoes.
Or like
Partially
I'm
loving.
walking into doorways. Hey guys, boom.
Hey, did I tell you about that story? And then just
Add
like
another day to the
Cal's
You're gonna-
head goes
you're
into
gonna
a
wake
wall.
up and you're gonna have like no memory.
You're gonna have no teeth.
Probably.
So you find the cot room. Nothing special, even though you really wanted something to be in there.
Yeah, you did.
Well, no, I was just curious.
No, you wanted something.
You wanted something
No,
to be
I was
real.
It's a room attached to a room like that. You like. I think all of us were like, all right, what's gonna be in this room?
Because of what we
Wow.
found in the room with the dragon, I wasn't expecting much. But because it was a room with a lot of cots, I was expecting like chests for storage for the cots. That's what I was
Everything was
expecting.
cleared out.
I was like, okay, well.
I was
never mind.
expecting something.
I wasn't really.
I was expecting like armory or something.
Nope.
Nah, I was.
And then the room after that was a slip and slide.
Because I didn't think anyone could make
Yep.
it past that.
So they got to the next room, and it had like the chute that went down to where we had met up,
The main entrance.
or with the not so nice goblins,
Yep.
the hobgoblins.
Well, it led to the
Um,
room next to that.
So Sorn, Bilal, Liren all
You.
carried
And
Cal back the other way, while Sprout was like, "Yippee! wee, and then jumped down the chute. And
Leon natural one
failed.
Leon aced it. Sprout just whoop.
It's like, what is it, the vine of the kid going down the slide? We're like,
Yep, pretty much.
And then once they got down there, Leon and Sprout kind of had
A bonding
nice
moment.
little conversation.
You
Get to
told
know
him about
ya.
your curse mark.
don't worry, I used to kill
Sprout
people.
will remember this. And then Sprout also kind of told Leon about his family and how much they freaking worship mushrooms.
Yeah, that was so
and
weird. And he gave me a
it was
mushroom, but that mushroom was good.
It was a tasty mushroom.
Tasty
was.
portobello mushroom.
It was nice and grilled.
I love it.
You know,
I just love the mentality.
Bilal
of, like,
has some mushrooms.
They worship mushrooms. That's weird. You're an elf that changes with the seasons. You're weird.
There's
I'm an 8-foot
freaking
tall
a
mountain person.
Okay,
I'm weird.
everyone in this world is weird. Obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still.
Which makes none of us
Just the mushroom
Certain
thing,
will
especially when he
destroy, though.
turns into something, there's a mushroom on his back.
That's just flavor.
That's
Yeah.
just weird.
By the way, Bilal has some mushrooms, so you should ask for those because I hear
No.
he makes a mean mushroom.
Okay.
No!
So, you guys then
It was funny when you asked what it,
Immediately-
how did I meet you guys though?
immediately forgot about your deal with the other goblins.
You see,
And-
So,
What?
if Cal had not been unconscious,
No, we
by the
didn't
way,
Wait,
let me
yeah.
just metagame this. If Cal had not been unconscious, she would have actually given the 2 smaller sapphires to
So,
the goblins,
you
one to
didn't-
each.
You
Soren tried.
didn't leave yet. You went over to the room that you had to go to one more time.
Yes.
Of
Sword
course.
was not going to leave that room alone.
And then that's when Bilal had the idea to like, okay, now that we have things and I can use Identify to find similar things, I'm gonna cast a find object, and then boom, boom, was like gold, sapphire in there, get it. So he drew a nice little border for you, and you with your finally.
Finally, something high enough.
Now the first roll we still messed up.
Right. Well, because again, the problem was when we investigated it before, we found out that if Soren had just like hit it, it was not going to be stable because we
Yeah.
didn't find out enough about the wall because nobody else was rolling high enough for
Anybody to learn
investigation.
anything?
Yeah. So us coming back and him doing locate object, it was like okay, right here, and then it was like all right, Soren will try again. This time more tactfully
With
with
a
the
pickaxe and
pickaxe.
beep beep beep, and you found
A chest. A chest that tried to kill us.
It was.
it was the spores that tried to kill you, the fungus.
Yeah, it was the chest itself didn't try to kill you.
No. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a mimic.
It was in a small cavity that you just pulled out, and it. You guys all well, you didn't.
Soren was like, oh.
And
it's
Sprout
just
was
me
all
and
like,
Bilal.
"Oh, spores!" Cause
And
like spores.
Bilal and Liam were like, "Oh, we're kind of tired now."
God dang it.
And
Soren just
inside,
sneezes. And inside there was
The 2 large sapphire.
2 large sapphire,
Was
a
there-
fancy necklace.
A gold necklace.
Yes, a fancy gold necklace.
And then.
And a scroll written in
Sylvan,
Sylvan.
which is the Fey language that uses the Elvish script, but changed. I know some people are like, "Well, that's not actually it's Elvish script, and they just speak Sylvan." In mine, a language, it's a derivative of the script. So Elvish is Elvish, English is English. But if I go and speak French, same alphabet, different pronunciation and
that-
different words.
And that's how I described it at first, because I know with Leon being able to speak Elvish, it was, I was like, oh, can he? And I was like, I got to imagine.
I
it's
was like, can I pick out words?
and maybe if you had rolled high enough.
You can try, but you
It
didn't.
might have
I
been
rolled
something like
bad.
where you know how you see certain words in another language, like you know,
Spanish.
like
Aqua.
Wunderbar or something, and you can kind of make some inferences. I imagine it's kind of somewhere like that. But if it's like a whole big thing, then you're not going to be able to piece everything together. And
Yep.
that would also be highly convenient to have words that you would just like recognize.
So you know it's in Sylvan because of your background, well, your Elvishness, and you can speak Elvish. So you're like, this is Elvish script. I think it's Sylvan. Past that, I can't tell a thing.
And if it makes you feel better, Zeke, we've had that happen where we saw Dwarven. And I
That's totally fine.
Well, it's one of those things where I speak Giant, where Dwarven is based off of Giant runes.
So
there
they're
was things
close.
where they're
they're
close, where I
close.
could recognize them. Like, these look familiar. I'm pretty sure this is Dwarven, but I can't read it because it's
Yeah.
not close enough.
Yep.
Okay,
Um,
I was like, whatever.
I know. I'm just
I
saying,
was just so unexpected.
I'm just saying that that's something that we do encounter, especially because again, like the examples of like Spanish uses most of the same alphabet as like English doesn't mean you can read it. It's
Yeah.
it's along the same lines. So I imagine we're going to encounter that a lot more.
So
that's what I was thinking about when making my character too.
also saw on the scroll is a
Picture.
of
A tree. With a halo.
With a halo, and like I guess
And
there was like a
roots.
little roots archway.
Root system in the archway, and it was dying.
Yeah, it's built.
Which just sounds like a good time.
Yep, sounds like everything
Now,
else.
I meant to ask this during gameplay, but I assume this tree didn't resemble Yggdrasil.
Maybe it did. You'll have to ask during game session.
Okay.
Let's hop back in for a second.
No.
Maybe another 2 hours.
Quick, back to the game.
No. So you pocketed it and then immediately left because you had nobody to tell you to stay.
We
Right.
totally forgot.
Soren tried.
Hold on.
After you made the 15-minute journey.
Honestly, we forgot. And then, wait, let's get back to when we had to climb all the rocks and water.
Yeah, so below wild shapes, so that way he could carry my unconscious body. Soren was able to like walk underwater. Laren swam. You did pretty good on your acrobatics
And
checks.
then
And then Sprout called
Sat in
upon
the
a
water.
sea turtle friend
And
and,
just sat
rode
him.
a turtle.
It was like,
That was adorable.
gnome druids.
That was adorable.
Dang
I was like,
druids.
Okay.
Look at him go.
So I was like, all right.
And then once they all met back up, that's when they had kind of realized like,
Wait a minute.
Soren was like, we were supposed to tell
forgot-
somebody.
Yeah, we forgot to tell the goblin.
I was like, I'm
And
totally.
Leon was willing to go
I was like,
back,
I
but then
will
the
go
rest
back.
of the group was like, let's just go. And we're like, but we should probably tell them. And then I think it was part of the fact that Sprout was even like, let's go. It was like, really, Sprout? You really want to?
Even Sprout was saying it.
I mean,
Yeah.
on the one hand, like
Sprout died like twice.
on the
Sure.
one hand, like I said, if Cal had been awake, she would have actually made an attempt to go and give the goblins a sapphire. On the other hand, if they were still in the same room and were right there, and then Cal would have given it left. But if she had to go find them, nah, forget that. She's walking out.
Exactly.
I
That's
mean,
what I say.
I'm
we
not
forgot.
gonna Cal.
I mean,
You
it's
wouldn't
one of
have done
those
the
things
extra
where it
effort.
could definitely be one of those things where, like, once everyone starts waking up, someone might go back or something. Again, that comes down to the next play session.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
going
think-
back to the scary bone dragon lair.
I mean, because
You're still gonna be unconscious.
well, I won't willingly.
You're about 25 minutes away.
Kind of saying,
I mean,
for
that-
me, waking up early, I could run back.
I was gonna say that's something that you could definitely, and
Yeah.
again, that's something that we'll come with at the
We'll
next
do it in
session.
the next
Yeah.
session, yeah.
Because it ended with us going like, and the group going like, we're not going back in. We should probably set up camp because we're gonna have a long way to walk. So then we found a camp, set it up, and took our shifts.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we really noticed was Soren was the last to do the watch, and he
Yeah.
sees
He saw us
off in the distance.
storm.
There'll be a storm a coming.
A storm a coming. So, yeah, on the horizon.
Yar, there be a storm a coming. Everyone shiver me timbers.
No.
So,
Turn to
and
the
that is where
episode.
we ended the session.
Yep.
So, any other questions to ask the DM? I mean, did you guys expect to live or die? Were you worried about death?
I don't think I mean,
I suppose I wasn't worried as much
as we were
I was.
playing, I mean, we made jokes about you trying to kill the characters. I mean,
Right?
You and I have the running joke of you trying to kill Soren so you can see another PC.
He does that to you too?
Well,
He does it to me too.
because
fucking
I
killed
keep
me.
coming up with PCs that he would like to see
Oh,
in a
okay.
campaign, like whether it was the Loxodon so he could have a Loxodon.
No, he just wants to kill me.
Or my Paladin because he likes the idea of the Paladin because it's a great story element.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, to be fair,
So he and I joke about it all the time. So, but it wasn't like I don't think at any point I was really worried about dying.
yeah, you're
I mean, until something happened, it was like, oh no! Like when it came to like the dragon, and I think it was mainly when it came to the orb, when it first lashed out, it was like, oh. And again, with the reactions he was having, there was a moment.
That's when I was like,
That was
that's
like, oh
when
no,
we were getting worried.
is this what it is? And it was like, oh, you survived. Like, oh, cool. Everyone's like, hit it again. Oh no.
but to be fair, that wasn't Brandon actively
No.
trying to kill us. That was
No,
you
that
had
was-
made a choice to hit the
Right,
shiny
you
gold.
all had decided
the same
to
way
hit the
that
flag ring.
Cal had made the choice to do message
Right.
that exposed that
in
whole
my
situation,
opinion,
and you made the choice
to run.
to run where the rest of us did not.
Honestly, I thought you guys were gonna join me. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
Welcome to the
the
Stormbreakers.
Stormbreakers don't typically run.
The Stormbreakers literally, they're
not like-
big
Aaron
meat
is still
bags.
They're
trying
not
to-
like another D&D group I know that just likes to just run away from every obstacle that the DM puts in their way.
Ooh. Hold on.
I have never played a character that runs from its
You
problems.
leave Tandaru. I can see that this is slander against
You
him.
stuck. I mean,
One day, maybe. we'll get to see
I
Tonderuzi
do
in
not
action.
play Coward. My characters stand their ground. Soren, because you got to remember, Leon, Z, you, person.
You.
It's interchangeable, Leon and
Because
Z.
I'm black.
No.
No. It's the same way Cal and Sam are interchangeable. It's like
Clam.
Right.
Clam. Sal.
Sal. But
Sorensen.
Lyra. Tron.
Oh boy,
But,
I like play on topic.
You have characters like Soren, who his whole or not his whole identity, but his whole thought process of the afterlife is to die in battle first and foremost. He's not going to turn and run unless he's given a better reason to, like protecting someone.
I mean, and that's why I went to tell you guys, but at the certain time of where it's just me, her, and then Sprout. I was like, no, let's back into the hallway and regroup. That's what I was thinking.
So
regroup.
let's put it that way. Like Cal's not cowardly enough necessarily to run. It's more or less like
I don't feel like
she's stupid enough to get herself killed. So
Sprout wasn't going to go anywhere without you.
Leon is
Sprout
like,
wasn't going to go. Sprout was going to leave you guys behind.
oh, well, that was nice. If Sprout had left, Cal would run.
And
Because
Sprout
Cal would have been
left-
like, okay, well, everybody else is leaving, so that probably should indicate that I should not
Sprout would
stay.
have just left you
She's
guys.
just like
you would've
surrounded
died.
by bone people, and she's like,
see, now Leon knows when to pick and choose his battles. He's like, no, no.
So that ends that session.
Yeah. And we will not be back next week to discuss the session as
Sure.
Brandon will be out of town again. It is going to be his brother's wedding.
It's not even that important.
Best of luck to the bride and groom.
This will be the last time I'm gone for a long while. I don't
Yeah.
anticipate missing anything else.
Then I'm just going to disappear for weeks.
That's on you. I can still DM.
I know, I think I have one Friday.
because Soren
That
is-
I'll be
I will
difficult
be
player.
here every night.
I just have one Friday I'll be gone. I know that.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like one Friday that I might miss, but I'm
Exactly.
going to make an 11-hour drive next Friday to try to be here for a performance check. I might not make it. I might be really tired, but I'm going to try anyway. So next Friday, or I guess tomorrow, we'll be doing performance check. As for next week, we might be doing another performance check to make up for the fact that we won't be doing a D&D session tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
Fine.
thank you all for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Adios.